That part.
Alright. Almost there.
We need a what? A feminine nomenon. A what? A feminine nomenon. Keep it hot like Papa John.
They were like, it was the most like conservative, like racist, homophobic, like corporate creature, right?
Who is?
Papa John.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's ironic. I thought that was incredibly ironic of her to mention him too in that song.
Yeah.
I was like, we're going on about like strong female lesbian lead, and we're going in the direction of comparing her to strong corporate man with sexual assault allegations against
the only the only thing feminine about her is the estrogen that's pumping through her veins through.
and the fact that she bottoms for Eli and Peyton Manning.
The ironic thing about homophobic men is that as they get older, they get closer to womanhood.
That part. Because don't ever forget it, gentlemen. Your body's going to naturally start producing estrogen as you age. And it will soften you out.
Bruce Jenner just beat him to the punch.
That part! I think we call her Caitlyn now.
Yes, of course. But at the time, you know.
Yeah.
I'm being respectful to, you know, her pre-transition name. Alright.
Were you supposed to go to Cedar Street?
Who's that?
Was that the rave you were invited to?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Did, why, you seen posts about it?
Yeah.
It looked okay. It looked like...
Yeah.
It looked like Austin. It looked like Austin on a Saturday night. A good Saturday night.
It was her story.
Oh, you follow her?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not. Speaking of Pink Pony Club, you had a night at the bar last night.
I did have a night at the bar.
I hear it was hilarious.
It was fine. It was a women's plus party for the lesbians that are involved in the gay bowl, which was nice. It was a nice change of pace at the typically gay bar. So it was an interesting night for sure. I will say the lesbians were the most low maintenance crew of people that I came in contact with, fully anticipating them to be the highest maintenance people I could come in contact with, but
like the bridal party set.
I anticipated something like that, but it was nothing of the sort.
Or the FAG HAG set.
Yeah, that part too, which also gets concerning. But then again, I can't compare apples to oranges with straight and gay women. But you know, the lesbians were super fun last night. They were awesome. They were really, really kind. They were respectful of the bar. They didn't do anything wrong. I didn't have to correct them an absolute garbage ton. It was a nice, pleasant change of pace than the typical twinks that I come in contact with on a regular basis.
You're giving the political answer. Give me the funniest answer. You literally said the funniest shit just a couple seconds ago.
Oh, I will. I have to lead into that. That's like you have to dig in with questioning for me to give you the details.
Tell me about
Keep
lesbians self-governing in the bar.
Okay, so a lot of the reason why I didn't have to kick anybody out or why I didn't really have to majorly correct anyone was the lesbian group that was there was very self-corrective.
200 plus, right?
It was around 200 people. They were very self-corrective. So what I mean by that is if anybody got too sloshed or absolute trashed, like the people around them would like turn towards them and be like, you've got to go. Like the crowd was like maintaining its health in that it would reject those that were too drunk to function within it. So I hardly had to do my job because they were essentially self-governing because, well, they didn't want to be around people who were trashed, so they would practically ostracized them until they left.
Did I make up, or did one of them said that you were being a sloppy? Well, not you, but like that their girlfriend was being a sloppy bitch and she needed to go home. Did I make that up, or that possibly happened? Do we have any?
There were a couple of like fighting couples last night. I will say that like with any gay couple, gay men or gay women, like it doesn't matter. Like twinks and lesbians act the same in this capacity. When one party gets drunk and gets mad at the other partner, it just blows out of proportion. And I did see a couple of times where that happened, but that really only happened on the sidewalk outside of the bar, so they were at least kind enough to do it there.
I would say GV in like with the lesbians and gay men, it's pretty neck for neck. I feel like
I don't know.
I think that it's fairly low, but like it happens, but it's definitely less of an issue. I feel like it is an issue, but I mean, like it's compared to hetero counterparts.
Statistically speaking, I actually don't know the real statistics on that.
No, but based on our experience, we're not doing statistics.
Yeah, like I don't know like the real like the facts in that. But however, knowing the statistics that I do know and understanding that men are more often perpetrators of domestic violence than women, I would still go to argue that gay men face a level of domestic violence that lesbians may not experience. That being said, lesbians, of course, will experience domestic violence, and that is a fact.
Oh, I knew a lot of fighting.
However, when you take away the primary problem, which happens to be the man in this case scenario, you probably are left with a higher likelihood of safety within a lesbian relationship.
I think probably viewers will like the answer. It's very political. I've known a lot of like physical violence within lesbian couples. However, there's more to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's complex, I think, with everybody.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like gay domestic violence, I feel like there is a lot of the cattiness is screaming,
Yeah.
which is DV too, in my opinion, and like pushing and stuff like that. But then the sexual stuff is a totally different thing,
Oh yeah.
I feel like that's a different animal than fighting and stuff like that. I mean, they're connected, but they are different.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, we just woke up, and I feel like you woke up and you put on your suit and tie. You were being getting messy.
Well, I mean, I woke up like it was nice waking up this morning. I didn't feel like. Also, it's been really gloomy in Austin for the last couple of days, so that's been incredibly nice. I like the sun, but like if I only see the sun for days on end, months in a row, like I get a little exhausted of it. So it's really nice to have like these gloomy little like fall days that I feel like, oh, it's super cloudy outside. It's really nice. Like that just makes me happy personally.
I feel like you embrace the seasons, which I like too. And we don't have like a lot of seasons here. We just have like hot, and then like
cold.
we have cold in January, and now we're still on hot, but we're hot and gloomy. I mean, we're 90, 91, 92 most days, but it's gloomy today.
It's November 1st, and it's still like 89 degrees out.
Yeah, and but yeah, I mean, we both got really dark this summer. We're out a lot. So much so that I had I have to start wearing sunglasses. My doctor said, because I am being what do you call it?
UV damage in your eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, there was something else I want to talk about. It was
Highland was bumping last night.
Really?
Like I had 1,000 people ask me where Highland was, and
it
was actually like it wasn't even just like gay people. Like it was actual straight people too.
Maybe they didn't know what it was.
I think there's something else going on in town today, or like this weekend. Like I legitimately I can't remember, but I think that there is something going on in town this weekend. Which we live in Austin, so there's like always something going on.
Yeah, it may not be good, but that birthday party did not turn out that well. Apparently.
Whose birthday party?
I don't want to say.
Known and seen. Like that is her personality. She's going to be seen, and that's a fact.
She has a millennial personality. I feel like. Do you feel like that's the case? Because I think that she probably is your age.
I mean, that was more damning than what I said, but yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, I feel like it's really important to hold people accountable. I feel like it's really important to hold your own generation accountable as well. I think you do that. You defend Gen Z as much as you roast Gen Z, and I really appreciate that. And I think that's
we're not perfect, but we're not perfect. You know, like we are the smartest generation that's ever existed.
Yeah, I think that it has something to do sometimes about being on that you're an elder as a millennial, like I'm an elder millennial. Like I feel like when you are on that cusp, you have like 20/20 vision or whatever clear vision is on the generation. You know, you're like no, you're
if you're a cusp of a generation, you have a clear view of both generations.
Oh no, you can like maybe I don't really look backwards at the generation before me, but I do look at I do see like the mistakes of my generation. You know. Like I do like not wholeheartedly dive into it. Like, you know, like I always knew that skinny jeans were a mistake unless like you were with you know, fucking who is that like that French designer that was like it was like Celine, Raf, like Hedi Slimane. Like those are all girls that like they will always wear skinny jeans and that was me. But for the most part, like, you know, men in painted on jeans, like especially muscular men.
Berries and cream, berries and cream.
I mean, it was ridiculous.
I'm a little lad who likes berries and cream. That's what it reminds me of. It's like, sir, put your pants on. Yeah. Okay, we can't come out with these Lord Farquaad tights.
Yeah.
All right, we can't come out here looking painted on when I can see the wrinkles in your ass. Okay.
The wrinkles in your ass.
Like that's not cute.
That's
like, come on, girlie. Like we can do better. I promise. Those skinny jeans do not act like a push-up bra. I know you think they do. I know you want them to. Okay? But unless there's anything in the hips, it's not holding anything up.
It was amazing when they were flesh-colored. that is...
We love a skin-tight khaki. Sure do.
Chelsea boots.
Yes! A
always...
plaid scarf, maybe a cardigan.
Yeah. I do like Chelsea boots. I really do. It's just like that combo.
And they better be made by LL Bean.
Oh my god. I only ever had Common Project Chelsea boots, but even those are honestly, I have to say, you know, those are millennial. Those are like bougie basic. You know.
Oh my god.
So I mean, it might as well be LL Bean. I really want to make that Troye Sivan joke, but now I don't have a way to work it in.
Which one?
Oh, the bloom joke. I wish...
Millennials bloom for a skinny jean moment. That's what they do.
That's actually not a bad setup. I was telling Aiden earlier that Bloom is not a gay song. That it can't be. It can't be remotely a gay song because it's a straight man like singing about his like crush like at the gym or like at, you know, fucking like locker room. Who happens to be a boy, and he is, you know, that's his siren, you know, like no gay man like would ever sing that song because like every gay situation that we're in, these girls are blooming constantly. They're the awesome.
They stay blooming.
Yeah. So I think like most Troye Sivan.
Those flowers are always in season, girl.
Those flowers. I feel like actually low-key all of Troy's songs, I mean, even though they're extremely gay, they are from like a questioning perspective. Like Stud is like kind of like, I mean, you know, she doesn't know like in and all one of your girls, you know? I've kind of known about her. I think I really found out about like, I've always known about her, sort of got introduced to her back catalog, I'd say a year ago. And then we saw her, obviously.
I fell in love with Troye Sivan when she did her collaboration with Zedd on a song that they did called Paper Cut. And I really, really, really liked that song forever. After I broke up with my fiance, that was like one of the songs that I lived on repeat with.
Fiance.
And it was really, really good.
What was it about?
It's just about like, the song itself is like, about like, Troy and his significant other, they like get into like a heated argument and like they go to sleep about it, and then by the time they wake up in the morning they realize that it was just like a small petty little squabble, and it was they feel like they may be bleeding out, but in reality it was just a paper cut.
Huh. Bleeding out is a really good term for the end of a relationship, I think. I've used that. Did he really say bleeding out? Did he use that as a metaphor? Or did you use that?
No, I think he does use it in the song.
Oh, cool. I like that. That's real. I know that you had this NASA sweatshirt. It's kind of like when we went to that museum, that space museum in Dallas.
We went to the one of the museums of natural history. I cannot remember the name of it, but it was really pretty. There were a lot of cool. They had like a crystal room, where like all of the crystals were, and they tell you how they're formed and like the chemical structure of each crystal and down to the chemical formula of each crystal, which I thought was really cool. There was like a whole room about like drilling for oil and like how that mechanism works and how the drilling mechanism pumps oil back up into the like through its own tube. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff about like the industry.
Yeah.
As much as there was about space. So it brought everything down from like literally from the highest, as high as you can go to as low as you can go.
Yeah.
To the center of the earth. It was a fun place. It was expensive too. And they have special events, but we did not see one. But we saw all the dinosaurs were cunt.
Yeah, the dinosaurs were so cool.
Like there's one when you're going up the escalator that like just greets you and is like, and you go underneath it.
He was a T-Rex.
Yeah, and he was like posing, like it was entirely like terrifying but cute.
He was serving kind.
Anyway,
I do want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor of the day.
Who would that be?
H&M sweatpants.
Preferably oversized.
Yes. Give me anything oversized.
Boyfriend inherited.
Oversized boyfriend inherited.
I can't remember if I got these in Europe or if I got these in
the content I really want to see.
It's Picante.
Picante. Tu picante?
God, Picante is gonna be a song, I'm sure. I mean, we have like espresso. It's just all foods, you know, like.
Ceviche.
Think about me, ceviche. That'd be hilarious.
Have a taste of my ceviche.
That doesn't wash.
You may be serving ceviche, but I'm in the mood for pate.
Pate is pate aged goose. No, is pate young goose liver or is it like
I can't
a duck
remember.
liver? Yeah, I know that.
You can make several different forms of pate though.
Yeah, pate's not bad.
Pate's okay. It's rich in iron.
Halloween. We didn't really talk about Halloween.
We didn't really celebrate it.
No. Well, like I played volleyball and you until late, and then you worked.
I went to Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, an all T.
Yeah, it was an all queer cast.
Not as all queer, like all trans too, right? Or no?
I don't know if it was all trans. I don't know.
Primarily trans?
Yes, it was a vast majority of them were trans or non-binary individuals.
Cool.
There was a couple I don't actually know their gender identity, so I will not speak for them. But I will say, for an all queer cast of Rocky Horror Picture Show, that was the best Rocky Horror Picture Show I've ever seen. And
how many have you seen?
3.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. So like
that's how many I've
seen. They if there's one thing I can say about these girls that did this production is that they took this production incredibly seriously. And it kind of made me proud to see. Actually, it made me incredibly proud to see at OOCAN. Because like I was like, these girls worked hard. And not only that, but I got the pleasure of witnessing their rehearsals. I got the pleasure of listening to their direction, of, just watching the production come from a concept to an implemented show. It was fun. It was fun to watch. It was interesting to watch. A lot of these girls have degrees in theater. So it was very professionally done. People knew their lines. People weren't questioning. There was no hiccup in the show production at all. And it was overall just a really, really fun time. And as someone who was working the bar during the show, I can say I had just as much fun as a patron.
How do they do the finale?
I don't exactly know. I didn't get to watch
right,
for real.
Right.
So like I just got to like hear it and like experience like what I could see. But I don't. They approached it really, really well. Grackle was the narrator.
Oh, she was Richard O'Brien.
She was the narrator. Which, I mean, are we shocked?
Yeah, because, well, it's within her wheelhouse.
It is her wheelhouse.
Yeah. She's good at talking.
It is her wheelhouse. She's got that deep smoker voice.
Yeah.
You know, like she's smoked cigarettes for 25 years. So that's something that I think is really funny as well. Is listening to her like deep raspy voice, and she always wears these like 48 triple Q fucking titties. So it's just like this dichotomy of these huge tits with this like super deep raspy voice, and it reminds me of like, it's so diner kind, you know? It's so like,
yeah.
What can I get you? Like kind of like, over easy or sunny side up, like kind of deal. Like that's what I feel like I'm listening to when I hear her speak.
It's gays owning that, like, 50-year veteran truck stop, cafe worker.
That part.
Like, I mean, she doesn't work the lot, but she works a lot,
Yes.
And she's been slinging,
I don't know. We're talking about Grackle here.
She might work the lot.
She works the lot and she works the lot.
And she's been slinging Folgers or Maxwell House, actually. She's been slinging fucking Depression era American coffee on the drip.
What is that fucking
What?
Royal Lion coffee or whatever shit?
Oh yeah,
they
maybe
buy?
we'll get real regional with it. Like, and I mean, a lot of those women also don't have children. I feel like at first I was like, oh, she's playing like this like kind of like mom, but honestly, those girlies, those elder waitresses, I think a lot of them those are what Lana Del Rey, when she's doing her infiltration into American life, those are what she skirts on, but does not deep dive into.
Bullshit social experiment
Yeah.
that she does to feel like she participates in American culture, despite the fact that she's so fucking far removed from any working class member that is fucking it's offensive at this point.
It is, but so to get, I would have her. She needs to go hang out with those ladies, because those ladies have seen things. Those ladies, when I was
honestly, she'll get to that point. We are going to witness Lana Del Rey become the next Shelley Duvall.
Oh shit, I could see that.
We are going to witness Lana Del Rey become the next Shelley Duvall.
The commitment to the bit. Damn.
She's going to move to a small house in rural America, just like Shelley did. She's going to get lost. People are going to speculate about her in 30 years. Then she's going to die of dementia.
Even though I didn't listen to it.
Very dark.
Even though I didn't listen to it, and I still remember it. I think at like 12, I was on drugs with people older than me at one of those truck stops, and we'd come from some rave or something like that, and one of these waitresses, and she wasn't even the older one. She wasn't like the Grackle era. She was like in her mid Grackle era, and she's like. She told me, she's like, you need to get away from all these people, all this. She's like, you need to go to school. This is not the life, and blah blah blah. And she's like, I don't end up like me. And she did the whole speech, and she meant that shit. She said it full chest, and I will never forget it. But I still continued on. However, I sometimes think back to that moment, and I was like, what if I just had listened to her and started doing calculus or something like that.
Started doing calculus.
I don't know what people do.
What's the derivative of?
Yeah.
Find the function of x.
TC. So I don't know. So I feel like there's a lot of wisdom in those ladies, and I feel like there's a lot of life experience, and I feel like there's a lot of lessons to be learned, but they would even tell you are lessons to be learned. I don't know how they ended up there. I don't know how they got there. I don't know why they stay there. I think probably you get caught. You probably can't get. You're just not hireable at some other place.
I mean,
you'd have to take one of those women, and then you'd have to then put them through some sort of Goodwill, back to work sort of ladies program where they put you in a bunch of 1980s secretary get up, and then try to find you a clerical job. She would have to go do that, and she'd
Like-
probably hate it.
Like dress for success shit.
Yes. Oh, wow. Yes, exactly. That's it. And but like you should, what they do to those women is a fucking crime.
It is a crime. They don't prepare them for the workforce at all in the slightest. They just give you a bunch of clothes and are like, have fun at your
They
interviews.
throw some Wet and Wild on their fucking face. Get some Aquanet. Put them in a 1980s fucking prom dress and throw them out into and some fucking kitten heels, right? Or like those little baby heels.
All the
like,
chaperones in the workforce looking at you like,
Actually, the chaperones in the workforce are probably like, where did you get that dress?
honestly. Yeah,
Because Chapel herself looks like one of those dress and success girls.
Hey, listen. Okay. We love a shoulder pad moment.
She looks like there's an episode of The Simpsons where Marge is shot in the face with a Homer's invention, which is a makeup gun, and it's set to whore, and Marge is like, why do I look like this? That's kind of the shot.
Why do I look like this?
Oh, it's set to whore.
Holy!
Why would you set it to whore?
Why is it set to whore?
If it was set to whore in reality, she would look much better.
That was the Queen of Melrose, and Marge Simpson had a baby.
Queen of, did you see the Gia Gunn Queen of Melrose TikTok? Like their little collab?
No, but one of my friends was over in Hollywood and did a bit with her.
Gia Gunn? Or
Yeah.
Queen of Melrose?
The Queen of Melrose.
You have to show that to me. Why didn't you mention that?
We're not that close. We're like connected on social media.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, Gia Gunn was in it. Gia Gunn is trying to come on social media like pretty heavy. She is.
I am the boom boom gun.
She's no. She may get good at it.
She is one of the stupidest people I think I've ever seen.
She's a bit of a mess right now. Like it took her. Like I watched one of her videos. It took 5 minutes to get the punchline, but the punchline was kind of funny.
She's incredibly dumb. Like
Really?
yes, she's stupid. She's one of those girls that when you're not talented, you work hard and you still get shit done for you. You know what I mean? Like she's the proof that it's not talent, it's hard work.
Do you mean like Sturgeon's work or like?
I mean, like, she's clearly not gifted at any capacity, but she's still hired because she's willing to show up on time and probably cause so little fuss.
Yeah,
she's here for
that.
the check, and she's definitely here for the check.
Does she have issues like her and her like each other? Like I can't remember.
I don't know their tea. I mean, I don't know what goes down in the nursing home, to be so real. And quite frankly, they're both old as dirt to me. And, like, I want to say something controversial yet brave. How is RuPaul still relevant?
Oh God, management, I would say.
How is she still relevant?
Also,
it's because she and I'll answer my own question with that she's single-handedly monopolized, queerness.
Yeah, she's
and
heterosexual penetration.
Yeah,
too.
she is.
She's penetrated the heterosexuals.
She's penetrated the heterosexual space, which, if you know anything about gay versus straight, what you'll learn is that there are different, both short and long form media forms that are designed specifically for queer and straight individuals.
Heterosexuals have bloomed for RuPaul.
And I will say that for the straights, I bet RuPaul is a palatable experience. I bet that is like an introduction to gay culture that they're like, oh, this is gay.
Yeah.
And then the rest of us are like, well, this isn't all gayness, but they're like, oh, well, this is really the only one that we want. Like that's how I think straight people view RuPaul. They're like, oh, this is the only form of gay media that I can actually tolerate, therefore it's the only one that I watch, which is probably why she's so successful.
Yeah, I don't know
these
that
spaces.
much about her, but she was nice to me when I would see her. Like, but she was punk out here like back in the day. But I can say that from my like bird's eye view, I'd say from the '90s on, she has been gunning up.
If there's one thing I can tell you about you stupid little punk whores from the early '90s, late '80s, is that you were all fucking posers, and that all of you who have money now couldn't be bothered to even think about the punk lifestyle that you used to live. Because if you, the punk in you, were to look at you now, they would look at you and be like, you have become the enemy, you rich-ass greedy
You're
motherfucker.
saying that to the ones that are alive, because probably there's a lot of cool ones that were very fucking real and down in it that are dead.
Well, you know what? I'd much rather die real than,
Well, that's what I'm
fake.
saying. Like, don't, like, I mean, like, but yeah.
Yes, I am talking to the ones who are alive, including you, Courtney fucking Love. You stupid bitch.
I love Courtney Love.
Yeah, I love Courtney Love. I loved Courtney Love for what she was, and then she started ranting about the machine on her social media while wearing Prada. Hi, bitch. Are you blind or are you fucking dumb? Because you can't point your fingers at the mirror.
She's always a dichotomy. She loves the high fashion moment. However, when Marc Jacobs, I think, did a line based on grunge in the 90s, based on them, and it was a huge success, he sent it over to them and they burned it. Later, they became good friends, and later she went through her whole designer era, which has never really ended.
Who?
Oh, Courtney.
Courtney Love is a designer?
No, designer era.
Oh, okay, good.
Like, where she's, like, doing designer shit, you know? Like, I mean, it's you know, fashion and
when was the last time Courtney
punk.
Love did anything that was worthwhile?
It's really hard to say.
That part. Like, the last time I saw her was her ranting on her social media about billionaires. And I thought it was the most tone-deaf bullshit that I've ever heard coming out of her fucking mouth.
She drops a lot of tea. Her Harvey Weinstein tea was...
What I'm really getting at here is I think she's a fucking hypocrite. I think she's a loser, and she's certainly a poser.
She's been all those things, but she's also been...
she's only successful because of whose dick she sucked.
That's not true at all. Her music is really good. Like,
her music was good.
Yeah.
She couldn't make good music if she tried these days.
She has tried.
Tried.
It's been, if you like, I like her voice. So whenever she's singing, like, even if the track isn't great, I'm like glad to hear her.
I hate punks who become rich because they're proof that you were never truly punk and that you were only jealous of what you didn't have. Because you're fake. You didn't keep those mentalities that you had. You don't care. You're not punk anymore. No, you only catered to the punk lifestyle because that's what you wanted at the time because you thought your life was so unfair. Like, you were never truly punk. Like, you never looked at the societal machine and were like, this is where the problems lie. No, you were like, these are the problems that affect me, therefore I'm going to be angry about it. And that was your version of punk. That's bullshit. That's so dumb. That is so gross, in my opinion. Because it's so self-centered. Because the punk movement was never about the self. Okay, first of all, the punk movement was about the collective. The punk movement was about destroying the machine. The punk movement was about recognizing where we have been failed and, like, learning to overcome that through fashion, social status.
I mean,
and,
punk
like,
is definitely huge fashion. And there's, as far as like collectively, I mean, like we weren't there for all that.
Maybe, but at the same time, what I can look at is the evidence and the track that a lot of those who were punk have followed, and I can see where they have deviated from the punk lifestyle or become the exact opposite of what they used to be.
The things that you're saying aren't wrong, but with Courtney, in Courtney's case, I mean, she stayed an artist. Even though you may not like her art, and she stayed curious. Like, yeah, she wanted to find out what royalty was about, so she decided to. But she's a nepo baby, and her like, even though it's through adoption, her mom was heiress to the Bausch and Lomb fortune, and Courtney had a trust, and
of course.
And it turns out that her mom's real mom, so that was her mom's adopted mom.
Bausch and Lomb.
Yeah, and then
Bausch and Lomb.
Yeah.
The eye.
Yeah.
The eyewear.
Yes. And then it turns out that actually her bio mom, her mother, so Courtney's grandmother, is actually a famous author, Paula Fox, a Pulitzer Prize winning, I think. So even on, she's never.
Her grandmother won a Pulitzer Prize, but she's busy ranting in her Prada on the internet about rich people.
But it's more complicated because her grandmother won't talk to her.
I won't give her credit.
And
also,
also,
I would neither if I were her grandmother who was a Pulitzer Prize winner. As an intellectual, I would have nothing to do with Courtney Love. You better bet your ass I would reject that thing. Absolutely.
No,
good for her.
You can't attack something just because it's there. She does a lot more, and she's a lot more interesting than many other people, boomers, for instance.
And I still will argue that she's a poser.
Well, she still supports, like, you know, granted, like, I would say who's supporting who, but like, I mean, at the time, you know, literally, like, I mean, she supported Lana back in the day.
I don't care who she supports and what she does. What I care about is what message she's bringing forth to the table, and does it match the message that you've been preaching for
like
years.
94.
Yeah,
So,
because
like,
she's a nepo baby, and it's all been given to her.
Well, I think her trust was pretty,
She didn't
like,
get anything she deserved. She didn't deserve anything she got. Okay, I can think of 1,000 girls that could do what Courtney Love does
No,
better.
that's not true.
I could.
If they could, then they would have.
That's true, but maybe because they weren't nepo babies, they didn't exactly have the access to a recording studio that she did.
She worked everything.
I'm gonna
she
say,
got, you know, like,
sure she did.
She did.
Sure.
I mean, you do too. Like she was a hustler.
My grandmother was a Pulitzer Prize award winner.
Well, no, at that time
I was a trust fund baby.
At that time, that was
she
unknown.
worked for everything she got.
Back in
Trust
the-
fund baby.
Back
What?
in the '90s, that part wasn't known, but yeah, the Boucher loan part was though. Yeah, so
Trust fund baby.
and she also.
I will never, ever, ever defend a nepo baby. Okay, do you know why? Because you were set up for success. You didn't have to scrape. If you did scrape, it was by your own choice. It was because you chose to get down
She
and
was
dirty.
kind of hated as a child, and then she was like dropped off. Granted, at boarding school in New Zealand, but like still.
Oh,
and,
boo fucking who.
And then she got put to juvenile
got
hall
dropped
for-
off in a boarding school.
They sent her to juvenile hall for stealing or some shit too. So, but then she was able to finance living in England off her trust. So, she did that with like Echo and the Bunnymen or some shit. So, I don't know. Anyway, Courtney Love is she's not a hypocrite for sure, you know, but she is always talking and she's always questioning.
I think she's a tone deaf boomer. And what's new?
I mean, she's definitely a boomer for sure.
What's new?
I mean, she might be actually the beginning of Gen X, but she is
Still, what's new? Gen X is by far one of the most stupid generations that I can think of. It's by far one of the dumbest.
You think?
Oh, yes. Are you kidding me? When I look at Gen X and the lack of emotional quotient within the vast majority of that generation, and I also see a sheer lack of intellect and a willingness to lack intellect generationally.
Gen X was under heavy boomer oppression, though.
And
Heavy.
all
this shit-
we were under heavy Gen X oppression, and we didn't make anybody else.
No, you
we
weren't.
didn't.
There's no.
Oh,
You think there's Gen X?
my parents were Gen X. Yes, being Gen Z, being raised by
Who were
the
Gen
most
X?
emotionally crass individuals who just looked at you and were like, either you make it or you don't. That was the Gen X way of parenting. The Gen X way of parenting was,
I think that's.
we
more
don't
of a
show
boomer
you
way.
any love.
Yeah.
We don't show you any love. You're forced to make it on your own. If you don't make it on your own, then you're the failure.
I mean,
And
that might just be bad parenting, but you might be right that it's
that's
that's
a very common occurrence within Gen Z that I've noticed, is that a lot of our parents were like, you can either sink or swim.
I thought Gen Z was helicopter parented. By as far as like a public opinion.
Okay, so there's a dichotomy between the two. You had to perform well, but you didn't get love for it.
I mean,
You had to make good grades, or if you didn't make good grades, you were punished. But if you did make good grades, you were not rewarded.
I mean, you're gifted and talented on the swim team. You're comparing yourself to a trailer park kid who has had to eat.
I was gifted and talented on the swim team, but if I didn't cut time in that event, my mother wouldn't watch me swim.
Right, but there's some kids that are eating out of half.
And
eating
that was
cans of baked
and
beans
my
like down
parents
the floor.
never let me forget that swimming was my job. It's how I paid my rent.
Yeah, well.
Swimming was something that I did. If I didn't swim, I was to work.
All right, get off your podium, guys. Sit back. You're doing the same thing that Courtney Love would do.
Well, I mean, sure. I'm not going to sit here and say that I wasn't privileged
You
growing
have
up.
you have such rage about something, and so she can have rage as well. She has rage about her position. She doesn't have rage anymore, probably because her rage now is probably aging and not doing good numbers.
But
in
mine
charts,
isn't.
you
So
know?
mine isn't tone deaf. I'm
It
not.
is. It's your rage is very specific to you, baby. It's not everyone's trials and tribulations are yours.
Yes,
So it
but
is
I'm not
tone
sitting
deaf.
here ranting about
You just did.
billionaires
Well, I mean,
while also maintaining the fact that I have millions of dollars.
I don't know. I don't know how much money she has, but she definitely dates billionaires. So ranting about billionaires is interesting. But I think she's calling shit out on like Elon Musk and stuff like that. Probably, you know.
Maybe. I still think that it's a little tone deaf coming from her. Like
she blew a lot of her money, and a lot of money was stolen because she really is. She had mental issues. She had drug issues. So I don't think she's as rich as you think she is. But she might be. That could be part of her gag too. I don't know.
Well, she wears a lot of the assets that she has. So
she likes buying clothes for sure, and she did that when it was in vintage era. All those, that just was. I like that people buy a lot of clothes. It's cool, you know. However, it's not extremely punk. It's like, you know, punk is definitely fashion, but yeah, I mean, like the
punk is not just fashion.
I said punk is definitely fashion, but you know, of course, it's not just fashion. Punk is fashion, and punk is music for sure, though. You know, as far as attitude. There's less hypocritical punks, but I've always thought the hippies, it's funny that they're called hippies because I find them very hypocritical as far as like what they're projecting.
Well, the hippies were a bunch of rich kids. Like the hippies were never anything but rich kids. They were the ones who could afford to burn their draft cards. They were the ones who could afford to have their life financed by their parents as they drove across the goddamn country.
I believe that. I mean, I definitely have seen that with all those people. That's why that's like one of the worst generations, that boomer generation, because they had revolutions that were performative and that weren't really revolutions. They were just purely like
revelations, really.
I mean, shit. But what's the revelation if you don't change your perspective and you just do the same things that have been done? Yeah,
breathe in
and
the
also
air.
like where were gay people during that whole era? Like if you look,
were gay people in that whole era dying of HIV?
No, nothing. They were not dying of HIV in the hippie moment.
Oh, that's true.
But the point is that like that whole like freedom, free love, that whole period was incredibly anti-gay. Like it was a very heterosexual orgy. You know, not that like I'm saying, okay, we weren't invited to the orgy. You know.
No. It wasn't just heterosexual orgy. It was heterosexual orgy with lesbian components.
Yeah, but extremely homophobic to men. And that just continued. Like they were that whole movement. I mean, I would really love to be proven wrong, but it seems like if straight white men threw a really like kind of rapey party, but also like, you know, dressed in a way to entice, like in a Pied Piper type of way, like we're gonna wear bell bottoms and like flowers in her hair, and we're going to get all the chicks to come get fucking cream pied and DP'd. You know, that seems like the whole movement was like it couldn't have been concocted in a straight man's wildest, wettest dreams better, because it was fucking so successful. And that's what
I don't know very many straight men who are willing to DP.
Oh, right, whatever. I mean, that maybe was me adding that on. But that questioning, sure, that might be like the thing. I mean, you can't be homophobic without being a little homo, in my opinion. You just can't. Like, it's in the name, you know. So I think DPing was definitely going on during that whole era. Not to a man, but definitely to a woman, you know. Yeah. And they were definitely seeing France, you know. So yeah. And all its monuments. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
Have you visited the Eiffel Tower?
to in fact with RuPaul though, because she's from that era too. Not from I think the hippie era. She's not quite that.
Another fucking fake ass punk.
But she's from the punk boomer era of the punk. So she's probably the tail end of the boomers. So there were the boomers, the earlier boomers that were the hippies, and then there were the tail end boomers that were more the punks or new wave or whatever. And so with her, you know, like, there was some old joke about like, I hope all your wrinkles come back to haunt you, like, or some shit like that, or all your like, what if all, like, because we love Pearl, that's one of the things that we bonded up when we first met.
Fucking love Pearl.
Like, love Pearl so much, and like think she's such a talent, and like
she is.
And like she's like only one of the highlights. If you don't even know anything that she's done since RuPaul,
I mean, she lives in a van now. She does Roxanne. Yeah, Roxanne. She's like absolutely hilarious.
She's
still to this day.
Yeah, exactly. But like you would still vibe with her just from her brief appearance on that show. The backbone of her, Willem, who also is such a huge talent. It may be obnoxious.
Met Willem one time, actually. Oh, yeah? Loved that. Like, loved Willem so much. And we only spoke, like, 4 words to each other. But she snuck into the bar. Like, in full drag. In full drag. Snuck into the bar.
How do you do that?
She wasn't clocked until after I clocked her. And then I walk up to her and I'm like,
do you need somebody to stand with you? Like you're literally
He's secure.
You're literally Willem.
Sometimes.
Like you're literally Willem. Do you need anything? Willem is my favorite drag queen.
I mean,
Because
I'd say
for
Pearl is
one,
mine, but
she keeps it real, and for two, I've never actually seen her on a high horse. Okay, like I don't think that she's arrogant for her talent level. I actually think that she carries herself incredibly well. She was incredibly kind speaking to me.
I think
even the direction that she gave me was incredibly kind. She's incredibly professional, from what I understand. I worship the ground she walks on because she is hilarious.
She is like Courtney Love, except without the drug addiction. You know, she's very like they have a punk spirit. Willem has a punk spirit.
Yes,
she
she does.
But she's also very organized, and she wants dominion, and she wants a corporation of her own.
Absolutely.
And the punk ethos is that she wants to take RuPaul down. You know, and that she didn't like that RuPaul was
because Moguls of Management, in my opinion, is far better in producing entertainment than World of Wonder, and you can take my word for that. You can write that down. I don't care.
She's definitely being oppressed too, because I mean we see like her Chick-fil-A video or about Boys at Bottom. I mean she did that early on without a lot of resources, and the public though the machine, the Drag Race machine definitely puts her down.
Well, that's I'm gonna say
I'm gonna say
some controversial and brave somethings again. I honestly believe and this is going to come out incredibly elitist. I don't apologize for that. But you know, I look at a vast majority of the Drag Race fans out there, and I look at a vast majority of just the standard gay population, and
Standard gay.
I look and see like their propensity to buy merch and their obsession with filler queens and their worship for the general machine of Drag Race, and I almost look at them and I think you are basic.
I mean, I don't
Like,
think they need to be told at this point.
You are basic. You are not interesting. And this goes for a vast majority of the Drag Race fans that I see. The sheen that you buy thinking is fashionable, it's not.
Okay.
Your outfits suck.
If you treat fast fashion like fashion, I'm gonna say that you can do okay. Like, you know, you shouldn't buy everything, and you shouldn't buy a trend that's been like cooked. You should
Also,
you
your
know.
flea market finds that have a Gucci label on them,
Oh, yeah,
or like that have like a
And that's
that,
not
that
real,
have like
bro.
a
It's not
Gucci
real.
design.
It's not real.
Believe you, honey.
Yeah.
Believe you me, nobody thought it was. Nobody thought it was
No.
real. You probably picked that up thinking, oh, it has a Gucci logo on it. I bet somebody will think it's real. No, they won't.
You'd be better off having
No, they
your friend
won't.
that knows how to knit just do a replica, because it's honestly gonna be fucking pretty damn
part.
close. I mean,
And if you know how to make a quilt, you could probably quilt a sweater vest.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, that'd be cute. That would be really cute, actually.
Hell, do your own design and make it fucking super.
Oh my
fun,
god,
you
one
know?
time I knew a guy that used to make t-shirt quilts. His name is Tommy. And he used to go to church with my parents, and I'm pretty sure that band's a faggot.
Yeah, I bet he is. I bet she is. Crochet crops for fall? No? Don't do that. There was some other thing that I actually like and that you hate. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't. You love.
I hate seeing a gay in a crochet sweater.
You hate.
I hate.
He
seeing
hates
it.
fucking mesh. That's why this isn't working. He hates.
I
mesh.
hate mesh so much.
He
I
hates
do hate mesh.
mesh.
I think it's tacky. I think it's tired. I think you look like. I think when I see a gay man in mesh, I expect him to talk like this and not speak about anything deeper than what goes on in his work or
It
sex
goes in
life.
his hole.
That part. So when I see a gay man in mesh, I know that conversation is not going to be of any weight. It's going to be a waste of my time, and I don't value that person as a human being.
I still think that these women have conversations that are deep. They're just not with us.
I don't think that they do.
Okay.
I would venture to argue that a vast majority of gay men that I come in contact with have never had a deeper thought.
Damn.
And I would actually go out to say that a lot of the deeper thought that they do have surrounds
what their image is to themselves in relation to how other men view them.
Here I am still doing deep exploration, deep sea exploration.
Like, we're doing deep sea exploration with people who are
kiddie
probably
pool deep.
30 feet deep. You know what I mean?
That's,
like
30 feet's a lot. That's actually
30
way
feet
too
is,
kind, I think.
Okay, maybe you're right. Like,
Kiddie
we're
pool deep.
attempting, like, deep sea exploration in the coral reef.
10 inches
Like,
deep.
we're trying to dig deep where there is only bedrock. Like, you can't get past it.
Yeah, which, speaking of that bedrock...
That bedrock is most likely a wall, but that wall is so immovable that she can't even think about.
I think we hit bedrock on a lot of our deep... Because, like, when we don't have sex with these men, or don't have sex with these men again, because, not that we're currently doing that, but just to be clear, at least I think not.
I'm not having sex with anybody else.
There was a scare recently that we'll talk about in another episode when we get into other things.
Part.
But the bedrock being that, like, this happened to you, and it happened to me. Like, so last week, Hayden was saying, like, nobody's texting me back. Like, which intended
only the fucking lesbians.
Yeah, which still they were on fucking I can't even say what I said. They were on LPT. But still, and so for me, something similar. I mean, eventually a couple people texted back, but basically, for the most part, like, the gay men writing you off, like, when romance doesn't work out, that to me is a mesh shirt queen or mesh queen behavior. Like, you know, it's
which,
like,
I hate to say it, but a vast majority of the gay men that I meet are in fact mesh gay behavior. Like, they're mesh
I do
top
like
behavior.
some mesh, though, to be honest. Like, I think mesh can work in a lot of, but not the way that it's working. All of this mesh is too much.
If I saw like a cute little like not spaghetti strap, but like a cute little tank top, and it had mesh down the sides, and it was like a maybe even like a corset down the middle, like a corset kind of top with mesh down the sides, I'd fuck with that with like a lace up, and you tie it up at the top. That's cute.
You've lost all credibility.
Actually, no, I haven't, because I see it in my head. And it's actually really, really pretty.
It's a nightmare. It's an apparition.
No, it's not. Not in the way that I have it implemented. But, like, that would be cute. But, like, when your whole top is fucking mesh, you just look like that boy that pushed Brittany Broski out of the way at the fucking Charlie concert.
Oh, my God.
Like, that's what you read to me as.
Oh.
You read to me as the most vapid, gross, self-centered loser.
I saw the uncut version of that video.
And I looked at her Instagram, and she let me follow her. She approved me. She let me follow her. And I looked through that bitch's Instagram.
You have to show me this.
Gross.
Well, what did you expect?
Gross.
I mean, she is.
There's not a semblance of a personality there at all. Not in the slightest. There is not a thought deeper than what am I having for dinner or who's about to fuck me behind those eyes.
Is it possible that gay people are demons, like the church says?
I won't
Is she a
demonize gay
demon?
people, but I will sit here and say that a vast majority of you are not real people to me.
NPCs.
Not NPCs, but like you just don't act like a human, therefore you aren't one. Like,
I mean, I'm not saying that NPCs like the whole isn't available, but other than that, are they NPCs?
I mean,
NPC with whole privileges.
when all I hear is, like, he said this about me, or this is what he's doing, or like when all I hear about like come out of somebody's mouth is gossip, or when all I hear about coming out of somebody's mouth is like who they're fucking, or like what they're trying to achieve, and like whatever sex they're having. Like, when that's the only 3 topics on the table, like, I think about you, and then I think, you don't have any true life experiences. You just fuck a lot of things and complain about it.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you go to your data entry job every fucking day. Which, in my personal opinion, I look at these gay men oftentimes, and I wonder, how do they not blow their brains out? How are they not miserable?
The level of delusion.
Look
at the level of delusion of the Brittany Broski guy.
I swear, because main character syndrome is so real.
Oh, God.
And I look at these gay people and I'm like, you wouldn't even be cast in a side part for an interesting storyline. Like,
no,
you'd be like, if they were cast, they'd be like, street ensemble number 3. Like, you know, like it would be like, these are the extras that we see passing us on the street, you know?
Or as Gen Z has cast her, as Senior data entry analyst.
Senior data entry analyst. That part.
Who can't serve.
Who can't serve? Zachary. Oh, what is Zach gonna mention today? I bet it's gonna be the pizza.
Oh shit, she's not coming over, is she?
Oh my god. Oh no, I would never actually do that.
Yeah, you scared the hell out of me that day.
Listen, I have this like fantasy where like if I don't like somebody, I'm like super super nice to them, and like I like get super super close to them, and then like I just remain like super kind so I can kind of get in, like to see like the deepness, and then eventually I'll set up a trap for them to fall into, and then go in for the kill.
A bear
Not necessarily a bear trap.
She's bear.
She's getting to the bear.
Obviously.
She's making her way down that track. She's
Making
not
her
there
way
yet,
down.
but she's
Making her way down
certainly
to the forest.
she's
Is
gaining.
she not there yet?
She's
Are you
gaining
sure?
the weight to get there, and that's a fact. She's certainly not doing herself any favors in the food department.
I thought that
She loves to eat. The girl loves to eat.
Okay,
and
Bear.
that's becoming incredible.
Bear isn't just weight. Just her frame is bear.
She's fat.
There's more
She's getting
to-
fat.
The bear community, there's more to being a bear than being fat.
Yes,
So
that's
not
true.
what you literally guard the forest. You are.
I do guard the fort. I am the Goldilocks of
Yeah.
Austin. Like bears love me, and I love bears. God damn it! But no, with this lovely woman that I call Zachary. One time last year, I got super shit faced, and they brought me she brought me back to her house, and with her other two roommates, and I downed a whole fucking pizza for them, and she never lets me forget that. But as far as I'm concerned, my waist is skinnier than hers, and I can still fit my fingers around it, whereas she would struggle to get a belt on. But so before you come for me again, Miss Receding Hairline, I need you to recognize that you just read as messy, tweaking, aging twink. So, before you come for me again, recognize that you yourself are absolute garbage.
That was really nice of you to call her a twink.
She's a twas. She's getting, I don't know. You know, she's in her 20s, so twink, these definitions for me are all very...
One thing in Gen Z, it started with my generation, like the whole like youth cult, like it was cooler to be older, and then all of a sudden, like when I was like,
And then we realized that the sins of aging are
Yeah.
in fact incredibly...
like being mid-30s was like the coolest thing, and then like when I was like 24, it was like, oh no, it's really cool to be in your early 20s, and then like and to like just be young and just always be like young, and then like it just never ended, and like your generation's picked up on the same thing. Your generation though is fucking, they're even like more insane. They're like she's 20, she's fucking ancient. You know, like it's a lot.
We
you
do
know?
that, yeah.
Like
Because I'll look at a 28-year-old and I'll be like, she's ancient.
Because like here's the thing, it's
And
like
I'm 25.
what have you done like at 18 or 19 that's made you remotely cool? Now granted, I feel like there's more opportunity to do that now, but still the majority of people,
We also have to look at it from, it's not that it's per se cool to stay young.
yeah.
It's just not cool to age. Like, we have reached a point in our society where aging is in fact
I always
a sin.
thought that people
and
in
like
their late
I mean,
30s
you
were
even look at like
I don't know.
you look at like all the products that we see released. You look at all of the
Oh, yeah.
advertisements that we have out there. Like, everything's about your image, whether it's from fucking Ozempic to Botox, like, or even down to the makeup products and skincare products that you see advertised to you on a daily basis. It is a crime to age.
Yeah,
It is a crime to age, which is why Generation Z is fighting to stay
Well, they are
looking like they're
aging
still 18.
worse, to be honest.
Like, well, yes, we're aging worse. We're the most stressed out fucking generation.
I don't
We've
know about all
inherited
that, but for whatever reason, it is happening.
It is more statistically impossible for a Generation Z person to buy a home than it has been for any generation prior.
Buying a home isn't all it's cracked up to be.
No, maybe not, but we don't have the opportunity to even get there.
I love Gen Z. Obviously, I literally love Gen Z. But like, but Gen Z, I like a more mature. Like I was just saying, I think people are their hotness like peak like 39, 40, you know, early 40s, whatever. Like, but like Gen Z, like once they like turn like 25, 26, 27, like they're kind of there. And it's
Which is why, you know, I kind of look at Generation Z in comparison to the millennial counterparts, and I think of most of the millennials that I come in contact with, they never fucking matured.
That's
And-
fucking true. That's true.
And you know, whereas they worshipped that party lifestyle in their early 20s, they never left it.
they never did.
And that's
And they're still not leaving it.
And that's
that is your bar.
that is so tired.
Yeah.
Like, girl, that is so tired.
The Britney Bro,
Like, I'm
bro
looking
is
at,
literally
like-
your entire clientele.
Oh, I know. I put up and tolerate.
She may look 55, but
Older
is,
gay people.
She is like at best. I think she's like she said she's
and
34.
like and I hear you. Like, your early 20s were probably your glory days, and I hear you.
The 90s
your
were a
early
great time.
Like, and, yeah, they were. You know, and so was Y2K. I'm sure that you really had fun with that. But mama, you are old now. Like, if you're creeping up to 38, 39, and you're still acting like the 27, 28-year-olds that I'm coming in contact with, I'm wondering, what is your problem?
So I'm for it, and I think that they should keep doing it until they can't. However, you have to be aware of it. You know,
I mean, here's the thing.
because as much as you're saying that and it's valid, and saying shut the fuck up.
I'm
sit
going
the
to
fuck
sit
down
here.
is also
And
valid.
I'm going to sit here and tell you this, okay? From what I understand and know as a paramedic, right?
Yeah.
Your body, right, is designed to withstand certain things at certain age range, like at certain age ranges, right? So you're naturally going to progress to be able to do and not be able to do
Some
certain
girls could
things.
never, though, at any age. Some girls could never.
And that's true. But, you know, I'm going to invite you to take my advice with this. You can take it or leave it. But as a 39-year-old, I do want to make you aware that your body is not the same as it was when it was 26. Okay? Your liver is not the same as it was when it was 26. Okay? And if you have been drinking like that
Yeah.
since you were 26, honey, when you hit jaundice at 55, and you're wondering why the fuck you look yellow, you're going to realize, oh, it's cirrhosis of the liver.
You also
Because I drank myself into oblivion.
Right.
I did too much fucking
need
coke.
water and Pilates. Come see me for Pilates.
And eventually, maybe for sports medicine, you can come see me.
Oh yeah.
But chances are I'm not going to treat you because you wouldn't like dancing at the bar and doing coke isn't a sport, honey.
But like
But if it were, you'd be the gold medalist.
And you have to be aware of your own cringe. Like, you know, like, I mean, universally, the Britney Broski bro is definitely, like, that was just so wrong. Especially, like, the uncut version. Like, you have to...
She was fucking obnoxious.
She
and
really
if I
was.
would have come in contact with that stupid man in my bar, I would
She
have
didn't
beat the
slay
absolute
either. She
fuck out
didn't
of him.
serve... Like, if she had served, it had been one
I would
thing.
have
But she
beat the
did not.
absolute fuck out of that man.
And she's still doing that dance. Like, I see her, like, through other
And
people's
those
socials.
Molly eyes that I
Yeah.
saw, those
It was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing,
And
and
like-
she's so shameless about it, and she thinks she's such an icon.
And she
You
had
know
no
she
fashion.
does
She had
because her fucking level of
Yeah.
delusion is that of every other gay man.
She was too delusional. She wasn't giving fashion. She wasn't giving body. She wasn't serving. She was fucking giving drug addict.
All she was giving was stupid faggot who
Yeah.
has a drug problem
and is overweight and bald
and
has no style.
None.
and,
Like,
and has no
hello.
self-awareness.
Hi, Queen. We know that you used to run the circuit when you were 20-something. But guess what? You're not anymore.
Do you think she did?
20-something.
I
Hey, I also need old aging faggots to recognize you're old. You're old. Okay? Act like you're fucking old. Please do not
She-
put
no,
the
the thing
mesh
is-
crop top
no.
on if you have a gut.
The thing is, she is acting.
We
like
are
she
not
did.
a body positive place. This is not for body positivity. Okay? I am not here for this. Okay? Dress in your age range,
No.
ma'am.
Dress what makes
If
you
I'm
look
seeing
good.
picture,
And that didn't amount. She did
that's
look
not
good.
subjective. If you think something doesn't make you look good, you ask for a second opinion.
It's true. You ask for
And you ask for a second opinion from someone who is honest.
You take full frame photos.
not
at the
from
bottom.
one of your girlies that's just gonna be like, yeah, girl, live your truth, like you're
She's
serving.
not- she's not a friend.
Nope, she's not a friend. She's not a friend. If your friends are always blindly supportive of you, they're not your friends.
They aren't. They aren't.
They
You
are
only have
not
one
your
life to
friends.
live. Why?
Spend it with honest people.
Yeah. Don't live it looking like Shrek.
Yeah, some of this is gonna get cut out because that's not angry, but
That's your brand.
my brand is anger.
Speaking of angry, I wanted to work this in earlier, but I want to end it. Imagine a world where all of RuPaul's villains, like Willem,
Oh, yeah.
Pearl, who else?
where all of the
Carmen Carrera, maybe, who I love. She's so beautiful.
It would make a perfect season to have all of the girls that RuPaul's.
And we know RuPaul loves money and she loves power and fame, but would the girls do it? That's not a question.
Are you kidding me?
Well,
Are you kidding me? Are you joking? Absolutely, they would. They would. Those girls are hungry. They are starving, and I would be too. I would definitely. If RuPaul sent me a letter or an email that said, "You have an opportunity to come back and win $200,000,
tax free."
I don't know if it's tax free, but $200,000 nonetheless.
$200,000.
And a 1-year supply of Anastasia Beverly Hills.
Well, Tresemme hair salon.
Oh, God. At Suave.
Are Tim Cook and what's his name?
Here at Apple.
Yeah, Tim Cook and
Tim Gunn.
Tim Gunn. Like, and then there's a third one, but like, why are all the
Tims.
The Tims. You got a case of the Tims.
The Tims. Anyways, but I think it would be lovely to have all of those girls that RuPaul's had beef with back in the season. And I do 100% believe that with the right price tag, those girls would do it.
But RuPaul...
And not only that, but it's been a long time since a lot of these girls have gotten any form of relevancy in mainstream media. So it would be a lovely opportunity for them to get their names back out there, as well as provide them an ability to do the drag race circuit. It would put them back in the bars.
I was really hoping that Willem could create this franchise that the girls would come to her and
she will. She'll get there. Willem will get there.
Yeah.
Willem, even RuPaul started somewhere and it was on MTV. So, Willem will get there.
I think she started on Logo, to be honest. Oh, which is
a subsidiary of MTV.
That's back when her Vaseline, SD, Foggy.
No. I'm not talking the original RuPaul's Drag Race. No.
Oh, you mean
the RuPaul show where she and Michelle Visage were just a talk show.
Really?
Yeah, they had a talk show.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, and then she.
What do you think of Michelle Visage?
And then Michelle and RuPaul did. And then RuPaul did Brady Bunch.
I only
back
recently
in the day.
found out that Michelle Visage was not T. Now that no, really. Now that I know that, how do you feel about this straight white woman being so prevalent in this gay space?
I think she served her purpose back in the 90s as a buffer for RuPaul. I think she did well in that. I think
a straight man?
I think she did great in that.
Okay.
I think that RuPaul was very, very smart to work with her in the 90s. She had this busty ass blonde, right, beside her the entire time that got the straight men to watch. It was a perfect buffer. Michelle Visage was...
Straight men to watch.
You have RuPaul here, then you have the buffer of Michelle Visage, and then you have the straight community. That made it 1,000 times more palatable.
So Michelle was serving, bio girl then?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. She was serving queen.
She looks good, but this in the context of the show,
she used to have super big tits, and then she got a breast reduction, which I think her tits look better now that she's had a breast reduction. I think the natural look definitely serves her well. But that's why she existed. She was a buffer.
All right.
Because you would have put just one drag queen up on TV in the 90s.
So should she in this villains series of RuPaul, should Michelle be allowed to be there? Because honestly, I feel like it should be the girls against.
If you look at a tradition from a traditional perspective of what Drag Race is and how she performs within the Drag Race space, she is mommy, right?
Yeah.
She's the supportive, hand holding, but also the stern kind of voice of okay, I love you, but you need to work hard. She
rides RuPaul's clit too hard, though. Which she has to, because that's her bread and butter.
Well,
she's not there for the girls enough.
Also, understand that she's still Sideshow Steve. Okay, she's not the main attraction. She's not the main character. She is still a Sideshow Steve. Oh. She is still just a judge on the panel. She's not the main character. She is not. She's a sidekick. Okay, she's the Robin to RuPaul's Batman. Okay, you can have one without the other, but Robin does not exist.
I'd much rather have Robin.
I'm in the corner watching you kiss her.
Oh.
Just keep dancing on my own.
I don't mean it like that, but.
But no, I think that as Sideshow Steve, she does her best, and as someone who does work hard, she serves her purpose.
So she stays.
She stays.
Yeah.
I'll keep her. And, I do like Michelle a lot. And the direction that she does provide
Like
is
her
far
style.
more thoughtful and far more informative and helpful than RuPaul does on the show. RuPaul is just full of shit, and she gives a bunch of cheesy sound bites and tries to sound deep.
I truly believe
can't
she's very
possibly do that.
smart.
Like, here's my thing about you, RuPaul. I will never forget what you are. Okay? You are still just that boy who lights his mother's cigarettes on the stove. Okay? You will never be anything other than that to me. All right?
How descriptive.
I listened to your podcast.
Oh.
I know what you come from. I know what you are now. And I know that what you are now is nothing but a desperate attempt to cover the trash that you came from.
Yeah,
And that's just
the opulent moment.
She does love an opulent moment, and she preaches opulence and she preaches style, but in reality she's nothing more and never has been anything more than trash.
Well, I wish that she'd have some more values and bring these girls back, because I feel like they all have talent, and it's a little sus that the girls with the most talent are the ones that she has the most beef with, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, because she herself has no fucking talent.
She has some talent. Anyway, we're going to sign off for today. He has to make more coffee. I think his 8th cup is brewing, right?
No, I had to throw something away.
Okay, we want to say goodbye?
All right, stay gay.
And stay confused. And we'll try to bring more clarity next time.
Fuck you, RuPaul.